It's an alien cliff. You can just say spider.
Yes, but the spider's still alien from Morty's point of view. It'd be pretty confusing if Morty found an earth spider on this mountain, so specifying its alien origin feels pretty warranted. Everyone knows that pedantry is more fun when it's saved for the really important stuff, like critiquing self-aware cartoons on the internet. Also, this episode opens with a pretty clear Star Trek V The One with God reference, which has led us to using this side-by-side comparison to prove it, which has led to all of us watching more Star Trek V The One with God than we ever need to, which has, rather fittingly, led to sin.
Activate anti-booby suit.
Will I be sinning this scene because it uses the phrase anti-booby, even though I know for a fact it's talking about booby traps and not actual boobies? Yes. Look, we all like saying booby, but someone has to nip these inaccuracies in the bud. Also, great idea, but what if this place contained traps that didn't rely on projectiles? Would these suits have been useful against disappearing bridges, quicksand, or those irritating statues where one always speaks the truth and the other one always lies?
More like trying too hard con.
Or more like trying too hard to come up with an insult for the heist con that is trying too hard con, or something con.
Guests are fans, Morty, which we are not.
Guests don't have to be fans. In fact, there are plenty of people out there who attend things or watch movies they know they'll hate so they can give themselves something to complain about, which honestly fits Rick to a f***ing T. I'm not one to judge based on physical appearance, but the fact that this individual's eye is not fully connected to their body is giving me all of the heebie-jeebies, and I would like it to stop, please.
Thanks for doing this, guys.
What's the job?
That was it. Bye.
I would say I feel bad for Glar, Angie Flint, and Trucula, but they chose to show up at the location without even knowing what the job was, so that's kind of on them.
It's showtime, Morty. And I don't mean a bad impression of HBO.
Yellow Jackets, Twin Peaks The Return, and the first 6 seasons of Dexter would like to have a word with you.
Lab coat, rip off Doctor Strange.
If Rick actually developed a sentient lab coat, then I guess he's kind of ripping off Doctor Strange, but also, Rick developed a sentient lab coat? Why isn't he using that more often?
Your booze mean nothing. I've seen what makes you cheer.
The reason I'm able to read YouTube comments somehow makes its way into the script.
It doesn't make things interesting. It makes them Ocean's 12. By far the worst one.
I'm just going to go ahead and send myself for liking Ocean's 12. I have no good excuses. I just love watching people enjoy European Vacation. Gonna go ahead and give myself a sin for liking National Lampoon's European Vacation as well. Oink oink, my good man.
Half of Knightley's 8 or just 3 of Sanchez's 5?
That's not how math works, Morty.
Well, no heist is complete without a double cross.
Okay, maybe Knightley predicted Rick would take the bait at the tomb, which would result in the heist off. But how could he have known Rick's team would be so willing to betray Rick? Especially when Rick has a reputation for murder. What the? Hi. What the sh**? What are you doing here? I'm you, but from several minutes in the future. Look, this episode gets mighty confusing if you don't know how it ends, so I'm here to set you straight when needed. Makes sense, but what's with the weirdly deep announcery voice? Don't worry, that'll make sense later. The important thing is that these 3 were specially selected by Rick because he knew they'd betray him, so I guess just do the thing where we send the show for the time we wasted writing a sin that it later disproves. See ya. Okay, yeah, what he/I said.
And I had the perfect job. Heisting the Crystal Skull.
He got the skull already. Looks like Rick and Morty left their crew and went straight to see Knightley on stage. So how did Knightley have enough time to recruit Rick's heisters, set the heist in motion, and... Again? Already? Sorry, buddy. We're about to see there's a huge time gap between Rick and Morty leaving the crew and then them turning up at Knightley's show, and that's when all the heisting happens. We're better off saying that there's no way Knightley could have known Rick was going to dick around for a few hours before coming to see him, which is the only way Knightley had enough time to pull off the heist. Okay, thank you, but wouldn't it be better to just lay all this out now and save some time? Bye!
Looks like you're available for a job.
Rick and Morty literally just left. Could Knightley not have waited until they were at least out of earshot? Okay, let's take a second to talk through this heist. Glar steals some keys and hands them off to Keycatcher, who hands them off to Double Microwave, who, well, microwaves them as a distraction to presumably clear out security. But couldn't he have microwaved anything metal? Why did they have to go through the effort of stealing the specific set of keys? Did the shapeshifter just shapeshift in front of the damn camera? I don't care if the crew is in charge of the surveillance room now. That's still recorded footage of their actual identity. Why even risk it? Do that shit off screen. We're smart. We'll figure it out. Also, they turn into the security guard, give the thumbs up, and the next thing that happens is that Monitor Lord switches off the lasers, allowing Angie to steal the skull. Why the does the crew need a security guard at this point? I'm trying to figure out how Miles didn't know by the weight of the attaché that there wasn't a crystal skull in it. I'm not saying he should have known it was a recent deuce Rick dropped, but the stench alone should have given something away.
God damn it, Morty, what did I tell you?
You gave him a time limit that he needed to pay attention to, but this is also the kid that said,
Half of Knightley's 8 or just 3 of Sanchez's 5?
So I'm pretty sure you should have been the one checking the clock, Rick.
Write an algorithm based on 2 heist movies I slept through and use it to automate a joyless process you call art?
Rick clearly has an issue with the heist genre being overly formulaic and predictable, but sometimes it's that very predictability that brings people the comfort and joy they need from their movie watching experience. We don't all have to like the same stuff, and we don't all have to agree, except for Army of the Dead. F that movie. Somehow, no one in this long line catches on to what's happening until all of them get hypnotized.
Look, Morty, I did not know that was gonna happen. That's not on me.
That's not how homicide law works.
Told you, Morty. He's still got it.
Oh, come on. The entire universe is in danger, and yet Rick took the time to recruit all of these students to set up this attack just to prove that Professor Poopy Butthole has... Damn it, what now?
Hey, I'm with you on this one, but they're gonna make the same point in the post-credit scene and steal our thunder, so I think we'd better send them for leaning on callbacks to characters no one likes.
But I like Mr. Poopy Butthole.
No, you don't!
Are you ventriloquiver?
In this episode alone, we've seen Rick block a hammer with a sudden robot arm, but a f***ing arrow hits the mark. How? I'm sure it's not the show sacrificing its integrity just to show us a unique superpower.
Rick Sanchez, I presume.
Damn it, guys.
Elon Tusk, listen, we need your help.
Rick, Morty, why me?
Elon Musk. Oh, look, what could possibly be wrong here? The sin is quite clearly...
Whoa there, steady on, no objections here at all. I just wanted to come back and send this one again.
Oh, cool.
Elon Musk cameos.
At this point, Heistatron has become large enough to heist entire planets.
But is it even heisting anymore? Everyone on this planet knows that they're being heisted. Are we supposed to believe that there's no way to scale up a heist to a planetary level that doesn't just involve making all the gadgets bigger? At this point, it isn't heisting. It's just breaking and entering with a sprinkling of genocide.
Instead of 2 heist movies I slept through, Randotron's algorithm is derived from the plots of 3 David Lynch movies I pretended to like to make my friends shut up.
For me, the crucial question here is which 3 David Lynch movies? I think it's only fair that we're told where on the spectrum between Dune and Blue Velvet this is going to be, so we know the best way to pretend we've seen either one.
If our collective behavior is just random enough, we should be able to walk through Heistatron's lazily contrived bullshit like it's not even there.
But even choosing to be random is a plan. If the end goal is to out-heist Heistotron, relying on randomness will either be so random that you never get to the desired outcome, or not be random enough to not be predicted by Heistotron.
I don't like these little jabs you get in, Elon.
Signed literally all of Twitter. Surprisingly, my issue here isn't the consumption of diapers, but the fact that this box specifies fresh suggests there is a not fresh diaper alternative on sale. The most unbelievable part of this episode is that Morty's room would be this clean.
I've got something to tell you.
Let me guess, when you invented me and Randotron, you swapped our brains?
If he knew Heistatron was going to go rogue, why does it even need Randotron? Why couldn't he have just programmed a failsafe into Here we go again.
Buddy, believe me, I am with you, but the next 5 minutes are going to get super f***ing weird, and I'm still not certain how many switcheroos actually make sense, and honestly, I'm not sure the show does either. Let's send it for Rick labeling these brains and then immediately switching the labels just for the purposes of the flashback that Heistatron can't see to compensate for a switcheroo Rick couldn't possibly have predicted.
What?
Well, if the brain inside of you is actually Heistatron's, it matters because it explodes when it hits 6 levels of contrivance.
I mean, could he not have made it 4 and saved us all some time and migraines?
Well done, Rick.
Randotron?
I'm afraid not.
But if Rick built both machines, how the f did it manage to switch out its own motherboard? And why did it need to bother with this earlier switcheroo? Also, if this is Heistotron, that means this was Randotron, which means it shouldn't have blown up after that 6th contrivance.
Because I programmed you to believe that.
I programmed you to believe that.
I programmed you to believe that.
Robot kids.
What's happening, Professor Poopy Butthole? He's learning.
I think it's fair to say that nothing within this rambling incoherence could be considered learning. In fact, I would argue that we're all dumber for having experienced it. Ricky Mortison should be awarded no points, and may God have mercy on our souls.
It appears the only perfect heist is one that was never written. Goodbye.
Rick and Morty writers create a paradox they have no idea how to solve, so they blow it up, deny its existence, or banish it to an alternate reality cliché.
Well, you know that screenplay that I've been writing? Netflix is pretty interested.
Morty, I'm so excited for you.
Wait, is Rick being sincere right now about a Netflix deal? What is...
Okay, last one, I promise. We're about to find out that Rick put this adventure into motion just to disillusion Morty and make him sour to his own heist script. However, I think we're safe to send him for the many, many, many millions of people that had to die just so that Rick could crush his grandson's passion for a project.
Oof, that's messed up, even for Rick.
Right? See you at the sin removal.
Wait, the what now?
Well, let's hear about this heist movie.
Okay, so it's kind of all built around this big crew with like a cool double cross and then this big awesome twist.
Expecting us to believe that Netflix didn't greenlight this at okay and then cancel it by awesome twist.
If Morty ever gives up on a single dream, it had better be because of his own disillusionment.
Somehow, Rick and Morty manages to pull off sending everything tropey and cliche about heist movies while also inceptioning itself into an excellent homage of an example of how to do the genre in a unique and satisfying way. Oh, and on that sin removal, I guess it's time to head back and make sure past me doesn't make a bigger ass of myself than usual. I still don't understand the deep voice thing, but
Better safe than paradoxed, am I right? I got a date with density.
You think this is funny?
Well, Terry, it sure as ain't sad.
10,000 years will give you such a crick in the neck.
Today, still wanted by the government, they survive as soldiers of fortune. If you have a problem, if no one else can help, and if you can find them, maybe you can hire the A-Team.
Respect the
Heistatron, state your prime directive.
The Draymans are not a subject for philosophical debate. They are a people.
Your life, as it has been, is over. From this time forward, you will service us.
Well, let's hear about this heist movie.
This is your basic mortgage bond, all right? The originals were simple. They were just thousands of AAA mortgages bundled together, guaranteed by the U.S. government.